Cool. What's going on? Thanks for joining another episode of Droppin Knowledge. We have Karla Slayton on today, and we're going to get into conversations around life insurance. Obviously, it's something that in our community specifically, too many of us, unfortunately, when we kind of pass on, we don't have things in order for our families. Whether it comes down to just having the proper information and people knowing where to get information from, but then also just having the funds necessary to properly get things in order and put you at rest and peace and not leaving a burden on your family. And so before I get on, and we may have another agent that I invited to this call as well to share his expertise of his many years in this business. I have Karla Slayton on. So how are you doing today, Karla?
I'm good. I'm good. In the quarantine look with my hair and everything, but otherwise,
Yeah,
I'm okay.
we all I tried to sneak outside and get a little bit of air, so
Yeah.
enjoy my scenery. Um, so so you've been how long have you been in the insurance business?
I've been in the actual insurance business now 11 years. I've been actually an agent. Today is my 1 year anniversary as being an agent in the field.
Happy
Um,
anniversary.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I decided to, after being in the business for 10 years, I wanted to do something. I was approaching my 40th birthday. So I wanted to do something still in that field, but something that was going to be able to help people and be more helpful. Then the opportunity came along for me to actually be a sales agent, and I jumped on it. It has been a really up and downhill this year, but
Hmm.
I feel it's something that I feel that is I can definitely feel good at night laying my head down at night knowing that I'm helping some families out.
So my question was, obviously in the financial literacy and credit restoration business, it's always, well, not always, but many times difficult to get our folks to prioritize credit in the way that they should. Do you find similar challenges in the life insurance arena?
Definitely. I deal with that every day, just trying to get people to understand. Even you can't see it. So, if we can't see it, normally we don't want to buy it. And people don't understand the long-term use of life insurance. That is not just something to have in death. It is something that you can have and live off of as well. It's benefits that you can get out of life insurance by living. So we don't understand that, or most people think I have it at work. I don't need it,
Right.
or my mom has a policy on me, my grandmother has a policy on me. They don't understand the need of having life insurance and building generational wealth. So it is an obstacle trying to get our people to understand that.
Great. That's you made some great points. So let's dive in. Let's dive in terms of
Okay.
I've heard of term life. I think is one I've heard. I think I've heard of whole life. How many
hmm
different types of insurance, life insurance um, items or products are there out there?
There's different types. The main two are term and permanent insurance, which is also known as whole life. And the simple way to break it down is term insurance. First of all, let me say all insurance is good insurance. So whatever you have,
Okay.
if it's life insurance, is good.
Okay.
Term insurance is more of renting. It's looking at it from a renting aspect. You can have acquire a larger death benefit for a certain amount of time. Now the time frame can be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. If anything happens to you within that time frame, you have that your agent is going to be giving your family, and you pass away, God forbid, your family is going to receive that death benefit. So again, it's renting. You're not getting any benefits out of it except for a death benefit.
Okay.
Permanent insurance is like owning. So when you own your home, you're building equity in it. When you own a whole life policy, permanent insurance, you're building cash value in it. Now, some companies also pay along dividends. Our company does that. It does pay dividends along with it. Now, that's something that you can kind of have. It takes time to build, but as long as you let it sit, you have the benefit of later on being able to use it for any retirement needs. It can become a part of your retirement portfolio. And the icing on the cake is a death benefit along with it. But you have that policy for the remainder of your life. So if anything happens to you, if you become uninsurable, you still have that permanent coverage with the benefit of utilizing the cash value for any needs you might have later on down the line.
So, and great explanation. Thank you for that. So the permanent, it sounds like, so that seems like the no-brainer. So I'm assuming permanent maybe is more expensive than
Yes,
term. Is
yes,
that the case? Okay.
yes. Now, some people, some clients get a, we can do a combination of both permanent and term. Now,
Okay.
term, I like to definitely give to parents. If you have a child, especially a young child, if anything happens to you over the amount of time your child is going to, you have to look at it as how long do I want my income to survive after I pass. So if you have a small child, you would want them if they're 5, you have at least another 13 years for them to
Right.
go to school. Their needs to be taken care of. So most parents get term insurance because they're able to get a bigger death benefit for a certain amount of time. Now, once the kids go off to school, you don't need to leave that much to your family if you choose not to. But most parents get the term insurance in order to have something, if anything happens to them while their child is still young, they'll be able to be taken care of. Um, you know, they're already going to be traumatized by losing a parent. At least you want to know that in your death that they're going to be taken care of financially.
Got it. Okay. So is it should you insure kids, and if so, is there a best practice in terms of at what age should you take out a
You
policy on a kid?
you can insure a baby. I always encourage people if they have a young child to start them on the permanent insurance while they're younger. We can customize a permanent policy that they can pay it for 10 years, 20 years again, and it will be paid up and let it sit and it will continue to build cash value. So the younger you are, the cheaper the coverage is when it comes to either term or permanent, but most definitely when it comes to whole life insurance. The younger you are, the cheaper the premiums are. So get it while you're young. Get it while you're young. Get it while you're insurable. Parents can start their college funding through whole life insurance for their children. Get it as a baby.
Got it.
And
Got it. So
when they
go ahead.
turn
I'm sorry.
18, you can give them a check and say, here, I got $30,000, whatever. You're setting them up for their future. You're already planting that foundation for them by acquiring that insurance for them at a young age.
Gotcha. Okay. I know we spoke a little bit, I don't know, either on Friday or yesterday, and we were talking about obviously what's going on in the world today with
Hmm.
COVID-19, and specifically our community has been annihilated, right? I think accounting for, I think,
Yes,
50% of the actual deaths.
yes,
And I didn't know this. I mean, I assumed it, but you were saying that, you get COVID or you test positive, you can't get any life insurance.
that is
Um,
correct.
yeah. So, what have you? And again, I don't know. I don't know in regards to selling the insurance, and then on the back end, if you guys are still in tune with any of those folks. But have you heard of any horror stories around kind of just what's going on, and anything that kind of come to mind?
Well, I know now there's been an increase in life insurance sales. People are scared. They don't know what's going to happen. It's, as you can see, this virus is not discriminating. So anyone
Right.
can get it. And people want to make sure that they have coverage. So people are reaching out. If you go on the life insurance uh, online, Googles have gone up almost 30% during this time because people are looking to get some coverage. Um, I've heard people call me and tell me that they've had family members that have passed away, that some of the insurance companies are not wanting to pay the death benefits. It's been a lot going on. It's been a lot of family members, people that have had multiple deaths in their family, that their family
Wow.
members did not have insurance. So that means people have to come together and try to get money for 4 or 5 family members that have passed away during this virus. So it's something that is very serious. It's something that people are taking very serious, and it's getting people more in tune with getting some life insurance. People are asking if anything, if I was to die tomorrow, am I going to have the coverage? If I get diagnosed with it, will I have it now? If you have been diagnosed with it, no, you cannot get coverage. But it's best to have it now with this going on to get some coverage because we never know. You don't know what's going to happen. And a lot of people are for the people that say they have insurance at work, a lot of people are being furloughed. Their
Mm,
benefits may not continue during that furlough. I'm not
right.
sure, each company is different if they're doing it. So if you're furloughed, you don't have your benefits that you would have. So if you pass away, you have no coverage. So it's always good to obtain that outside coverage outside of work, because you never know what can happen. And especially now, people are losing jobs, companies
Yeah.
are going out of business. Have something on the outside of just work.
Got it.
That's my number one thing of telling people.
That makes a lot of sense. You mentioned you mentioned kind of having maybe kind of a combination of a
Hmm.
permanent and a term. What's what's usually what do most people get in our community? Most people are they doing one or the other? Like what's the breakdown in terms of what your average person does?
Well, people are starting off with, I always tell my clients, let's acquire as much as you can in death benefit now, and we can work it out later. When my clients, I'm building a relationship with them. It's not that you're just going to see me and I'm going to get this sale and you'll never see me again. I'm gonna deliver the policy and I'm gone with the wind. I'm building a relationship with them. I want to keep in contact with them every 6 months, every year. I want to make sure that their needs change. Things happen. If you acquire term insurance with our company, you do have the option to convert it within the first 10 years. So you can convert all or a portion of that policy, that term policy, and get some whole life. So maybe next year you might have paid off some bills. You might get some coverage now and just get term. You might have paid off your credit card bills within the next year. So that's an extra $300 or $400 that you have free. Now let's discuss putting this into some permanent coverage and get something in place for you for later on down the line. So it's pretty much just, each individual is different. It's accessing their needs and what is important for them at this time, getting them some coverage, getting them through underwriting. And once we do that, we're building a relationship and on down the line. So if they need, they can come to me for anything, credit repair, call you, it's just
Right.
building that arsenal of people and that trust with people so that they can understand that this is something that you need. This is something that is crucial. It's not a luxury to have life insurance. It's a necessity. At this day and time, it's a necessity to have. It should be just
Absolutely.
like you have Comcast. You need to have a life insurance bill. You have cell phones. We make sure we insure those. If we
Right.
drop our phone, we're ready to have a fit.
Right.
But if you pass away, now your family is trying to scramble together to get a GoFundMe. Think of it as the
Right.
same way, the same
Right.
thing.
Got you. So I see we have a few people watching. So if folks are interested, they want to have a conversation, understand more about life insurance that maybe they don't get through here, or they have some specific questions about them and their families, how should they reach out to you and contact you?
I'm on Facebook at Karla Slayton. That's Karla. Last name Slayton, Slayton. Or they can give me a call at 773-469-2165. If they have policies, they don't understand. A lot of people have policies and don't even know what they have. They want to have a review of their coverage. I can definitely assist them with that. Especially now, I want to make sure that everybody knows, reads the fine print, that they understand the fine print, and they know what they have. Some people have accidental death coverage and don't have life insurance.
Right.
So make sure you know exactly what you have, and I'm here to help if they need any help.
Got it. So another question for you. You mentioned that once you try to get as much value as possible, or the highest amount possible
Hmm.
for death benefits. So can I say, Karla, you know what? I want a $5 million policy, right? Let's just say that that's what I wanted. Is it that simple, or is it based on, is there, you have to look at my financials, you have to look at what I do? Like, how is that amount set? Can somebody like myself just throw out a number that I want as long as I'm able to pay the monthly? Do I get that, or are there other components to it?
Well, they do look at it to make sure you do have a job, you're able to pay the bills. After 4 million, you do have to provide taxes, tax a W-2 or 1099. You have to show that you're able to. Why do you need this amount of coverage? But yeah, we definitely, whatever you feel, whatever you need, we can definitely get that for you. As long as you're able to provide all the, if we require any tax information, you can get that to us. Yeah, you can get whatever you need. Because a lot of people are in real estate, so they have homes that they need a few million in order to cover their homes. As long as you can provide that information, yes, we can definitely get whatever you need.
All right. So if I'm getting too detailed, let me know. We can sidebar.
No, no,
And
no.
again, I'm just so regardless of what my assets are today, et cetera, I can't choose a certain dollar amount in terms of a death benefit just because I want my daughter and my grandkids to be paid if I go. Like, is
Yeah,
it not
no,
that
that
simple as long as I can pay it?
yeah, as long as you can pay it. I always say for people that have small children, I always say take a look at your income and how many years do you want your income to survive. Okay. So
Okay.
a lot of people, if you have a people don't if you throw out a number, a small child that's 3, $1 million in coverage is not, to me, is not enough. If you think about if you want them to go to private school. Think about if you were still here, how would you want? And also, I'm sorry, just a sidebar. One other thing, when you, a lot of people are, if anything happens, make sure you've had a discussion with your family member. If something happens to you, who's going to be taking care of their child, of your child? Have that discussion with them. Make sure that they know that they're going to be taken care of it. A lot of people say, "Oh, my mom's going to do it." Their mom has never even talked to them about that. Their mom might
Right.
not even be financially able to take care of them. Have it set up. You can set your things up in trust so that if when your children gets older, they can get a certain amount if they go to school. You can set all of this up. But yeah, definitely, if you have a small child, $1 million is, you should definitely, I think, start off with 1 million. And it's not something, if you think about over the years, think about how much money you spend on your child now yearly. 1 million
Right.
throughout their lifetime is, you're gonna probably triple
Yeah.
that in
Yeah.
coverage.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
also, it'll be something that's a foundation for them. It's building generational wealth. So that $1 million is going back into the community. That $1 million is going back into, maybe they might start a business. It's building
Right.
that generational wealth if anything happens.
Got it. So let's say I'm listening to this live and I don't have infinite resources or infinite cash coming in each month, but I want to be responsible, right? If something were to happen, I wouldn't want my family having to, sell chicken dinners or doing a GoFundMe.
Hmm.
And I know there are specific things, but if I'm looking for like a ballpark number as to how do I get something that'll be able to at least cover, burial and funeral expenses, etc. What's like a number that I can think about? I mean, is it $10 a month? Is it $20 a month for something very basic that gets the job done?
I just wrote a policy for a 26-year-old, 27-year-old, I'm sorry, for $100,000. It was $16.96 a month. You can
Wow.
go to McDonald's and spend more than that. You go grab a burger, a couple burgers, that's that. So it,
Yeah.
it can be, and that was for $100,000 in coverage. And it was $16.96 a month. That's something to start off with. That will cover burial. That will cover if they have any bills. Those, that's something. Having
Right.
something is better than having nothing.
Right. Right. So
So it
let's
can be
let's
as
talk about
minimal as that, as
right.
$16 a month.
So let's talk about obviously we don't need to know who that person is or name, but let's talk
Hmm.
about that individual because one
Hmm.
of the things I talked about is just the mindset of people, right?
Hmm.
And so many people just wing it and I'm gonna be here forever and they don't get those affairs in order. For that young person, was it that you already had a relationship and you've been in their ear? Like what drove that young person to say, hey, you know what, to sit down with you, to actually make a decision to get life insurance? When you say 16, $17 a month, it's like that's a no brainer, right? That's a no brainer, but so many
Hmm.
people don't do it.
You would
Uh,
think. You would think, right?
you would think so. What? Tell me a little bit about that 26-year-old person that made them make the commitment and have the mindset to get insurance.
So this individual I had been talking to since the summer. They wanted to get some coverage. They have a small child. They blew me off.
Hmm.
I called about 3 or 4 times and I said, okay. This person the other day texted me and said, I need to speak with you as soon as possible. I need to get some coverage. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
Um, and what had happened was they've had cousins that have been killed, murdered,
Hmm.
and they just buried two cousins, and they have a grandmother that's on life support in the hospital. And he
Wow.
said, I need to get something. He was like, I really need to have something. We just had to bury two of my cousins that were murdered. They didn't have any insurance. They had kids, and we had to scrape together to get the money. I don't want to leave my family like that. And he said the minimum I can do is about $20 a month, just to start off. And we wrote him up immediately. He signed it before the email dropped in his email. He signed it immediately. But sometimes everybody comes around. It might not be at that point in time a person understands it. And unfortunately, it took something as tragic as
Right.
losing two family members and having a grandmother on life support for this person to come around, but they came around. So I don't
Right.
ever get discouraged in thinking that, oh, people don't understand or they don't get it. They do, but sometimes it takes them an eye opener for them to see when it hits close to home, and
Right.
especially being a young black male in Chicago. Every day you wake up, you don't know if it's your last day. And if
Right.
you have kids, you definitely want to make sure that you're providing for those children. I mean, it's you can't say that I feel personally, you can't say that you love your children. I'm so in love with my children. I love you, but I
Right.
have nothing to secure your future if anything happens to me. It
Mm.
makes no sense. That's not love. The
Mm.
the most genuine love letter you can leave someone is some life insurance. Something that they can have a start off with. Something that can say,
Yeah.
okay, my dad isn't here, my mom isn't here, my grandmother isn't here, but they left me a foundation. I can get started on doing what I need to do. I didn't miss a beat as far as financially in the life I was living because they made sure I was secure when they left. So I
Right.
mean, I talked and the guy I talked to, he said he wants his cousin, the other cousin wants to get something, and his aunt wants to get something for her and her kids. I'm like, just call me anytime. But I mean, it felt good. It felt good to understand that for him to wake up and see, because I was on his back, I was calling him, and he blew me off. He
Right.
completely blew
Right.
me off.
Yeah. Been there,
Yeah,
done that. Been there, done that.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, when buying insurance policies, is it better to get one, or maybe some sort of, like you talked about, combination between permanent and term, or does it ever make sense for someone to have multiple insurance policies for some strategic reason, etc.?
Yeah, some people have a policy that's just going to be their death benefit that's going to go to their family. Some people have it set up, some policies set up as far as just generating cash value, and they're applying it as a part of their retirement portfolio. You can have as many as you possibly can afford, but the main thing is to get coverage and to get something that is within your budget. Starting off with something, make sure that it's within your budget, and then we work from there. But yeah, a lot of business owners can write off their businesses and have it as if, let's say you and I had a business together, we can insure one another. If I pass away, that life insurance is going to cover my half of the business, that you can take it over, and vice versa. So you can set it
Mm.
up whatever you're based on what your needs are. So it's not just having it for death benefits. The icing on the
Right.
cake is the death benefit, but we can utilize it for retirement, for whatever needs you have at that moment. It's just starting off with something that you can afford and working from there.
Got it. So the life insurance policy to kind of generate, kind of cash value sort of
Hmm.
life insurance policy.
Hmm.
Obviously, that's investing in different things in the markets, etc. Are you equipped to have those conversations? Do you have a team of people to kind of guide and give suggestions on where things should go, et cetera, depending on whether you want to be aggressive or a little bit more? Like, how does that work?
So, just one clarification with the whole life policy, that's not dealing with the market. So, what we just experienced where people were losing money in the market, life insurance whole life policy owners didn't were not affected by that.
Okay.
Their cash value continued to grow. Now we do have some life insurance policies, but that's a more in detail conversation that do deal with the market. But the two main are the term and whole, and the whole life was not affected by the market. Now whole life is also, and life insurance is also creditor proof. So any bankruptcies, anybody wants to sue you, they cannot touch the money that's in your life insurance policies. But our
Mm.
company does have a team of people. Whatever you want to do, if you want to deal with the market, if you want disability insurance, whatever you need, we have people that can assist you with that. We have a whole team that can work and plan out a policy and customize a policy just for you and your needs.
Got it. So roll that back for me because I heard, obviously my world, I heard bankruptcy, I heard. So run back through that again. So you said, yeah, repeat what you just said again. I want to make sure that I get it.
So what I said was in life insurance, it is creditor proof. So if you have any
All
bankruptcies
life
or any,
insurance?
yes, they cannot touch that. They cannot touch that coverage. And that's what, well, term doesn't build any cash value. So that wouldn't, but whole life, they cannot touch those benefits, the cash value that's in your whole life insurance from any
Got it.
creditors, any bankruptcies. They cannot touch that.
Got
So
it.
the running joke was as far as with OJ Simpson, how he's still able to go to the golf clubs and still live his life because he had a very good financial planner that put a lot of his money into life insurance, into whole life. So his
Mm.
royalties are touched, whereas life insurance and cash value is not.
Oh, wow. OJ, still winning.
Yeah.
That's funny. So good. What's so kind of as I guess put me in the seat of a client, and you're talking to me about life insurance and my need for it. What are some of your talking points that you share with individuals to maybe motivate me to make the right decision or to get going or take some sort of action?
Well, first, if you come to me and you tell me you have nothing, my job is to get you something. I'm not gonna I'm it's like I have the exit route to a burning building. I'm gonna show you how to get out of there. So let's get you some insurance starting off, and then we can work from there. Now if you tell me you have something from work, okay, how much do you have at work? Is this policy a portable policy? Does your company allow you to take if you were to leave? Most people don't stay in their jobs as long as they used to in the past 10, 20, 30 years. People move around. So in that gap of moving around and looking for another job, you don't have any insurance. Does your old company allow you to take that money? Take that life
Mm.
insurance where you can pay it on your own. So it's kind of seeing what their if they have insurance at work, how much, how many children do you have? Most companies might double or triple your salary. Some just pay your salary. That's only going to last 1 year. So what happens after that if you got a 2-year old or 3-year old? Let's get you something else to secure to as a crutch on top of having that insurance from work. So it's pretty, each individual, like I said, is different. It might be a single mom that says, hey, I got 4 kids. I have $20 a month to spend. Let's get you something. Let's get you as much as we possibly can with this $20. So it's just each individual needs. It's getting something. You have nothing. Number one is to get you something. If you have something at work, let's get something. Let's base it off of what you have. How long do you want your salary to survive after you pass? Kind of assessing those needs and seeing exactly what is beneficial for the client.
Got it. Um, Great information too. So thank you. You're dropping a lot of gems, nuggets. So hopefully the folks that are coming in take some time. This is super important. One of the reasons that I'm doing this drop-in knowledge segment of this series is I just want to give information and share information from the network of folks that I know because again, this is not normally the type of stuff that we're talking about when we're doing brunch or drinking beers or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about having a good time, but again, it's
Mm-hmm.
about time for us to be as responsible as we can, not just for ourselves, but obviously our families and those folks that we leave behind,
Definitely.
because they don't have to
Definitely.
start at the same point that we start. So applying for or looking to secure life insurance, I know I did years ago, but I had someone came out, they did some basic health things. Is that
Mm-hmm.
still a part of the process for all insurance policies? Do some require that, some don't? Can you talk about that a bit?
Well, with our company, the minimum of doing blood and urine is 100,000. So anything over 100,000, we do have we have a nurse that comes out, draws your blood, draws your urine, and we'll get those. We have to get all insurance companies check a medical database. So So we check your prescriptions, we check the medical database to see if there's been any hospitalizations or anything. If it's under $100,000, all we really need is your medical records and anything that comes back in the medical database. But a lot of people shy away from wanting to do the blood and urine. I encourage them. It's first of all, it's a free physical. If you haven't been to the doctor in a long time, it might be something that we uncover that you aren't aware of. But it also secures your insurance. We have to take a look at you and see, are you someone that we want to insure? It won't be those problems down the line saying, oh, well, we didn't know, that if something happens to you is delaying your claim process because we discovered something. We got that up front and we're like, okay, we're going to take a risk on this person and go ahead and insure them with our company. So it's not bad to do the blood and urine. I encourage people to do it. It's a lot better than a lot of companies. You go online and sign up. They aren't aware of what they have. They can't answer questions. Their premiums are going up every month, every year. It's best to do the blood and urine up front. It's taken care of, and then we move on from there.
Got it. Okay. Has has the current state of what's going on in the world, has that impacted what that process looks like? Or you guys send, let's say somebody hears this right now, they're like, who knows when this thing's gonna go away? I'm seeing, I've had a friend pass, et cetera, and they want to get insurance immediately. Are your nurses still going out to do that? Do you guys change the process at all?
So we do have nurses that still go out, but we also, if you within the last 24 months have had any blood and urine, we can use those results from the blood and urine from your doctor and access that. You just give us permission to get that information from your doctor, or we can just quote you at a non-smoker rate. So it's a little bit higher rate because once you go through underwriting with us, based on your health history, it can lessen your premium. So if you get an excellent rating with us, that can make your premium a lot cheaper than if you just get a basic non-smoker rating. If you don't want to do the blood and urine, you have fear of that, we will quote you at a non-smoker, and then within 1 year from taking out the policy, you can do your blood and urine and get your premium lower. If you just want to get some coverage, and we'll do that up to $3 million. That
Got it.
we'll
Okay.
do that coverage. Hmm.
Cool, cool, cool. So again, if anybody watching this video has specific questions, feel free to drop that into the comment section. We'll make sure that we get it answered for you. So as we kind of wrap up here, Carl, I know that we've shared a lot, and so again,
Hmm.
appreciate this information. I'm sure everybody watching has at least learned something that they didn't know prior to this conversation. Anything else that you think that our listeners should be aware of when it comes to life insurance? Any thoughts that you want to kind of leave them with before we wrap up here?
Just pretty much to understand that life insurance again is not just for the death benefit. You can utilize the benefits for living as well. And especially in our community, let's put generational wealth. Let's build generational wealth. Let's not just be the only community that's looking for GoFundMe's, that's looking for handouts. Let's start something on our own. Let's leave a legacy for our children. Let's leave our children in a good place, our grandchildren, that they can acquire properties, they can start businesses. It's just everyone else, every other culture, they leave trust funds, they leave things to their children, they leave homes, they leave property. They start them off they start them off with money, not in debt. A lot of times we leave our
Mhm.
family members in debt. So let's start them off with something, anything, just that they can have. I mean, I know when I started with my company, my manager said, if you do you know who your great 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 grandfather is? And I'm like, no. But if he would have left me a $250,000 check, you best believe I would have known. And that would have went. That's building a legacy. That's building that generational wealth. So it would have been something throughout your family that you know. Now I know in my family, they knew to have life insurance, but it was always, you got a $25,000 policy. You
Yeah,
have it.
yeah.
You make sure you can bury them, and whatever little bit you have, pay off bills or whatever you have. But there's so much more that we can leave for our people. If your family is able to have a home and there's still a mortgage, at least be able to leave your children that mortgage is paid off. They can stay in their home. They don't have to be uprooted. If it's a family where the mother stays at home and the father passes away, at least provide that the mother can still stay at home with the children and they can stay in their home. Just build that generational wealth, build that legacy for your children. And it does not cost a lot. It does not cost a lot at all. We can
Well,
go
good.
out like, one weekend of going out to eat. Think of all the money we're saving now not going out. You
Right.
can put that towards getting some insurance. One weekend of not eating out, you can definitely put towards a nice policy for your family.
Well, good. This has been amazing, amazing information that you shared today. So I'm super thankful. I'll repay the favor, and I'll make sure that I jump on your page and talk a little bit more
Definitely.
about what we do with
Definitely.
credit and
Definitely.
financial. I think again, we're talking that talk that our community needs, right? So we always say we
Definitely.
do it for the culture. I talk about educate, hashtag educate the culture, right? Because there's
Yep.
definitely some things that we miss that we really should. So I see Miss Rhonda Daniel McDaniel said that she wants to talk after this, and so hopefully, if you're hearing this, again, this video will be available on my page. Feel free to tag people. It's a 37-minute conversation, but um, so well worthwhile. And Karl is helping many, many folks in our community position themselves and their families
Hmm.
for financial success. And so, thank you again. I appreciate your time, and definitely look forward to connecting with you. As I told you, I'm gonna get another
Yes.
policy from you, and so
Okay,
let's
great.
connect this week so we can get that squared
Okay.
away. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again. Unfortunately, we couldn't get Kyle
Thank you.
on.
Thank you for having me. Thank
You
you.
got it. You got it. You did an amazing job. So thanks a lot, and
Thank you.
continue to stay safe.
Thank you. You too.